What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. It is Thursday, September 28th, the last Thursday of September, and this Swinkers Off. What's up, man?
Yes, it is. We're here.
We're here.
Are you
And
excited?
last weekend of September, but obviously Sunday rolls into October, and then after that, it's just we have like really one weekend left next weekend of there is kind of like some last minute ones there overseas at Ascot, but really, especially over here, the last weekend of Breeders' Cup Challenge races, and then that's it. It's we're 5 weeks out. Right now we're 5 weeks. Next week we get a month out. It's crazy.
Can I make a controversial statement to start the show?
I always encourage those. Yes.
Horse racing doesn't even need September. It's a worse month for horse racing. Now, it helps that Del Mar runs an extra week now, like they're a little bit longer. That does help. I hate September for horse racing. Because you think about it, right? October, you kind of laid it out. Keeneland comes back. You got the Breeders' Cup last weekend. You got, preps. You got Keeneland's back. You got the Breeders' Cup. It's that build, and it feels good. It feels important. November, you have the Breeders' Cup, and then you have that Thanksgiving weekend that's kind of fun for holiday racing. Many people would say December's the worst. I don't really think so, though, because you are kind of amping up for the next year, right? You have big races at Aqueduct in December. You open up Santa Anita in December. I think September is the worst month for racing.
Yeah. Maybe if you compare it to the other months, especially, it's like it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like December would be the only other one, but with December, you start to have those 2-year-olds. Well, we do the fantasy draft as well in December, so you kind of start to get excited about the 2-year-olds upcoming and turning into 3, and what the Derby Trail is right around the corner, and so it obviously Oaklawn now starts in December, so it's like, yeah, I'm with you. I think with September, you just are once Saratoga ends in Del Mar, you're just like, can we please get to October now in the Breeders' Cup? I mean, it's funny. It's like it's a great sports month. It's just not a great month. It's just not a great month for horse racing.
Yeah, it is. It is a great sports month for sure, because you got, the baseball season winds down and the football season ramps up, and you're just super pumped. But yeah, racing, man, and here's the deal. Like, we're running at Aqueduct at races, and it's like, yeah, whatever. We're running at Churchill, but it's like nobody really takes it all that serious. I'm talking about nationwide, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad, this last weekend in September, it does get better. And then we really take off from there. I'm glad it's over, though. That's just a month I just don't enjoy.
Yeah, Rodney, we'll man, the Breeders' Cup can't wait to go. We actually, it's kind of we're getting excited too. We've been kind of booking our stuff and our hotels and our Airbnb and our flights and our credentials and stuff for the race. And so we're got the whole team out there. Myself, Halterman, Magic, and Ryan Stillman reuniting with Ryan. I was talking to him yesterday about that, and I was like, dude, because with COVID happened, and then 2019 it was at Santa Anita, and that was the last time we all hung out. So you're talking 4 years in the makings here. What we're going to be seeing him next month.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's definitely nuts. We checked off a lot of that with not seeing people for a while, and we've been able to see people over the last year or two, but not him. So be good to be back. Be good to be back at Santa Anita. Last time we were there, it was a lot of fun, and it's always, when you walk into Santa Anita, you're like, whoa, this is so cool here. It's like a movie set. So I'm super pumped to be back at Santa Anita for this, and it doesn't really matter, like, the quality of the races. The Breeders' Cup is the Breeders' Cup. It is an event unlike any other, and this one will be just as special, I'm sure.
Yeah, Bree can't wait either. It's if you've never been to the Breeders' Cup, it's amazing. You're picking a great first one to go to. I mean, our first ones was at Churchill. Froze our ass off that first year, but once we got to Santa Anita, I felt like, oh, okay, I can get on board with this. Why is it not here every year? And really, it's the best to me. I think Del Mar is awesome. I mean, they're all awesome, right? But to me, Santa Anita is probably my favorite place to have. It's huge. It's not that crowded. it to me is the best place to have the Breeders' Cup.
I think a racetrack in heaven would look just like Santa Anita. I mean, it is just perfect. It really is, and I totally agree. I think it's the best host of the Breeders' Cup. I love Churchill Downs. I love Keeneland. I love Del Mar, but Santa Anita, it's the right size. It's adequate space. Parking is easy. Everything's easy getting in and out of there. Considering it's such a big event. It's the perfect background. It just feels like that's where a championship race should be taking place. And the weather is always, well, not always, but 99% of the time is perfect for those days. And so it's just great. It has everything. And I'm with you. I love Del Mar, but it's small, it's crowded, getting in and out is a problem. I mean,
there's not a lot to, it is a cool town, but there's not a lot to do in the town outside of the racing.
Correct. And Keeneland, same way. Love Keeneland, but it's cold. It's small again. It's hard getting in and out of that place, especially getting out.
As we learned last year.
Yeah. So it's absolutely no knock on those places. Love those places. Santa Anita is the best place to host it, in my opinion.
Yep. This is let's see. Someone help me with my math. What is this? My 14th straight Breeders' Cup. 2010 was I haven't missed one since we went for
Zenyatta.
Zenyatta won 2009. She went to go to defend it in 2010. We all went. That was our first one. Of course, she lost to Blame, but haven't missed one since. You missed one.
Yep.
In there, I think it was right second year, maybe third year.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, it was like right after. Then you realize, like, yeah, I'm not missing this anymore. And then you've been going ever since too. So we point to this obviously every year. It's Super Bowl of horse racing. Can't wait to see everyone there. And I'll get it. Well, we can talk a little bit about it because you were at Remington Park and last weekend and saw a lot of friends of racing dudes on there out there. And you probably have a better experience, or you probably have a better how do I want to say it, better feel, or maybe you're a little more positive back into horse racing than I am, because the last time I was at a track was the Saratoga debacle, and I went twice this summer, and both times they were awful. And you kind of view the same way, but you kind of, from what I kind of gathered, you rebounded a little bit. And so I'm looking forward to the next time I'm at a track, we'll be at the Breeders' Cup, and fingers crossed we can have a good couple days of racing there and a safe couple days of racing. But I guess, are you feeling a little bit better about horse racing in general?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It was a much needed day. And if you listen to the show on Thursday, I said I'm not going down there, because I was the same way as you. It's just like I don't really feel like going and watching that. And after what happened at Saratoga, and then Shoddy and Davey really and Pedlo really talked me into going. I thought, all right, yeah, I'll go. I just to kind of see those guys and gals. And then we had such a fun day. Track was great. The racing was really good. The friends were even better. And I'm like, I got in the car and I told my dad, I was like, that's what this should be. And that's not what this was all summer for us, but that's racing. That's why I fell in love with the sport. Great racing on the track. Maybe you win, maybe you lose, but you're having fun and the racing is competitive and good. And then you're there with your friends. You're just having a good time. And that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's always been. And that's just not what it was this summer. So I think you need the Breeders' Cup, just like I needed the Oklahoma Derby.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention our group, it's been a while since obviously last Breeders' Cup with Magic, but and Ryan, but then all the fans that we know and friends from racing that will be there. And I think too, I'm excited because we'll stop talking about our trip, but I'm excited because it's like, I was talking to Ryan about this yesterday. We don't have that, last year. The thing about people that people don't realize about us with racing is we get really into it from obviously we're trying to win bets and cash tickets, but we get into it from what brought us to the game were horses we just fell in love with,
Sure.
And throughout the years, it never changes. And I think that's the way it is for a lot of people. But, so last year, we even though we knew Flightline would win, we knew, at least we believed very strongly he would win. But, you had the nervousness of get it done. Like, this horse could be one of the best all time. And, it's a little more riding on it, I felt like, with him. And obviously other years there's been that case with big horses. you're really pulling, American Pharaoh or whatever horses you're really trying to win. This year, I don't have a lot of horses that I love, like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, whatever, turf, dirt, whatever. Like, I don't have a lot of horses that I'm like, just cannot wait to see as far as hope they win. I'm going to be a nervous wreck. So I feel like I'm more excited just to be there, be betting, not really have the nervous energy that we do a lot of the times when we go.
100% accurate. I totally agree. It's going to be a very, very relaxed Breeders' Cup, in my opinion, because you're right. Yeah, you look back, like the flight line's like, yeah, you think he's going to win, but boy, what a bummer if he would have lost, And it's still you've been around racing long enough to know it's like he certainly could lose. It's racing; they lose all the time when they're supposed to win, right? So
yeah,
and yeah, you think about like the American Pharaoh years, Zenyatta you talked about, and Flightline. A lot of Breeders' Cups are built around one horse, where it's like, God, you're just waiting for that to happen. Yeah, this one not so much for sure. And there's not really, the fan darlings, so to speak, that are running. It's just kind of, we got these horses, we're not overly attached to any of them. Let's just go have fun. Let's just go have fun with our friends, and we'll bet these races and do our best handicapping that we could possibly do. And at the end of the day, we're not sitting there a nervous wreck, race after race.
yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, Zenyatta has to be the ultimate one.
Yeah.
As far as the nervous, that'll probably never.
Yeah.
Pharaoh was a big one. We hadn't seen him since the Travers and what he would do, in his last career race. And like I said, even Flyline was one just because you knew he was better than everybody, but you wanted to see that elite performance. And of course, we did. So yeah, let's see. I'm trying to cover. I know there's a lot going on Twitter. You're exiled from Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get on there as the least amount, but apparently there's some shit going on with Baffert and the lawsuit, and the video or not video of the and Swift Hitter, what he's got, and they're shoddy. I mean, but I don't know. Like, you probably know more about it than even I do, because I know you've kind of been talking about it with some of the insider people. But as far as Twitter goes, there's a lot of people have been asking us. I don't give a shit, to be honest with you.
1,000%. I don't. There's no way I could care any more less. Like I don't care about this at all. Not one bit. Like the fact that this is a big deal just kind of shows you how irrelevant
dumb our sport is. Yeah,
and how terrible our sport kind of is. And this is just not a story anywhere but horse racing. So I don't care. No, not on Twitter. I didn't know anything was going on other than people send it to me. I have read through the lawsuit because somebody sent it to me last night. See, I don't even have to be on Twitter. People just send it to me all the time. I mean, what do you want me to say? I don't
it's kind of like, to me, it'd be like, I mean, and this is a extreme example. It'd be like I'm trying Belichick or something, like suing some fan that talks shit about him on Twitter or something. It's just, I know that's extreme, but it's just like, that would never happen, right? Because but in horse racing, we let this happen. This is par for the course. And
I mean, all parties involved have their issues, I think, is the best way to say it. And I don't want to sit here and talk bad about anybody, but I just think that's the facts, right? All parties involved have problems, and I don't know what the best result is out of this, and I don't really care. I just hope everybody. I guess what I'm saying is like I don't want anybody to be hurt by this. Any of these individuals. I don't have any problem with anybody, like, personally, but these are individuals that just, including Baffert, that just have a lot of issues, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know really personally know any of the other than Baffert, I guess, but I mean, don't know like the parties involved, but just from what I've been told, and kind of like the smoke right around everything that they possibly are associated with, it kind of feels like it's time to like move on from them. Like let's kind of weed out because I mean, I don't know what. It's a very toxic. Twitter horse racing is very toxic, and Halterman obviously knows that. We all know that, but you know that was what Halterman led to him getting off of there. It's very toxic, and I will just say that it felt like he and that some of these parties involved in all of this, not just that, feel like they're kind of the headliners of that toxicity.
Yeah, I mean everybody's to blame. Honestly, it's them. It's Baffert. It's crazy. But it's one of those things, right? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and slander people, but people have sent me Twitter threads about certain individuals, and it doesn't look good. Forget about the Baffert stuff, other stuff, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't care enough to get into it. But it is, it's one of those things. I think a lot of people saw this coming, and
Yeah,
I don't know what will happen on it, but look, all I could say is, the people on Twitter, including the two that have been named, have attacked us as a business before unsolicited for no reason. And we just ignore it because I don't even know who you are. Like, I don't even know you. Why are you attacking me? And that's why I got off of it. The final straw, it didn't have anything to do with these two guys. I met a couple people at the track. They were super nice. I get home 2 or 3 days later, they're making fun of us. And I'm just like, I don't need this. Right. Like,
yeah.
And that's just it. It's like, if I was being an asshole to somebody, then that's great. But I don't do anything to anybody, and so we get unsolicited attacks all the time, and it's like, I don't need this. I don't need to read this. So anyway, that's my thing on it.
Shoddy, I'll save that for the end. Stick around for my commentary on I'm not going to waste my time with that right now.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of thoughts about the old T Swift and my boy Kelsey. If you haven't heard, have you heard, by the way? I mean, have you noticed, is there anything been going on? Have you realized that Taylor Swift is now introduced to the NFL?
Yeah, I know all about that. I do. I haven't been following it because, again, I'm not on social media, but it has been blasted out. Listen, I text you. I was at Remington, and a video of her celebrating one of his touchdowns came through my phone from ESPN.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is weird.
I know. I have a lot to talk. I want some thoughts and questions for you as well. So we'll touch on that at the end of the show. First, though, we did this last week. We're going to do it every week until the Breeders' Cup is final, right? Mm-hmm. Oh wait, Aaron broke the news. It's chicken strips.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw everybody had chicken strips. A very basic group, I must say. You fit in perfectly, though. So
yes.
But no. So Breeders' Cup Classic, 5 weeks out. We're doing this every week until we give our final picks on the Breeders' Cup show, the Thursday prior, or I guess it'd be Friday prior. All right. So we did the rankings yesterday. We released them. So if you haven't seen that, go to our YouTube page and make sure you go watch that video of Halterman and I kind of going over the rankings. But all right, Halterman, time for it again. Who's your pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic?
God, why do you do this? Let's see. Well, is the video of Baffert going to come out before then? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's good. That could change a lot.
That's why. Please stop sending me stuff, people on Twitter. Anyway, let's see. I don't want to know. Yeah, let's go. I'm thinking. I'm thinking today. I'm going to go Arabian Night.
Today. All right. I am not. Here's where I'm going. And I do believe, by the way, Michael, I do believe, and I pretty strongly believe this, that if White Barrio runs again runs his Whitney race, he wins. I just think that was better than any performance we've seen thus far. So I will say that as a preface, and I'm not going to be shocked if he does win, but I'm not picking him to win. My pick, if there's ever been a year for Japan to win this thing, it's this year. I feel like I'm Team Japan. Today I am Team Japan. Ushba Tesoro, your Dubai World Cup winner. This is who I'm picking to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think I listen. I just feel like it kind of to me the riding somewhat like we could look back and be like, yeah, this seemed like to be, when that horse went. And Dermot Suchgaki apparently is, even though had an issue and missed the prep race for this race, is still going to train up, which is dicey, right? Because we haven't seen the horse since the Derby. But Japan can, like, wouldn't be totally shocking, I guess. But for me, this is I'm kind of hoping he runs in the race because I think he's going to get a lot more attention than some of these. So I like Ushba, but I think the pace setup alone will, if this horse can run his race that he did in Dubai, that he did in he ran yesterday, by the way, in like the prep or whatever. I think the pace setup will be really good for him too.
Two very unique things about this classic. And number one is I will have not even one clue who I'm actually going to pick until they draw the race. And that's hardly, I mean, you look over the years, you've got a classic horse. It's almost like the Derby. Yeah. You've got a classic horse. Now, the horse may not get to the race, but by now you got a pretty good idea who you're going to pick, right? So that's one unique thing. And number two, just auto toss horses like the one you just picked to win is it's not a thing. Like, I will look into it. Like most years, like that horse shows up here last year, boom, auto toss.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt
about it. But now it's like, I probably won't pick the horse, to be completely honest, but I can't say 100% that I won't. And I certainly can't say, oh, that's a bad pick or that's a crazy pick. No way. Because
here's the thing, like imagine a world where we get closer and the field starts to line up and they're all at Santa Anita and you're still feeling what you're feeling right now, which is, I mean, gosh, I go 1,000 different ways, and they're raving about how good he's shipped and how good he looks and the workouts and all the kind of the systems seem go, and be like, it's kind of hard. You can easily get there to picking one of these
good
Japanese, or if it is either one of those, or I mean that's just it. Like, my thinking is our best horses are like 1, 2, and 3, other than the Wide Barrio Freak performance, is like all 3-year-olds.
Yep.
So we know that we have a lesser year this year when it comes to, older horses. The 3-year-olds that was kind of a shitty Triple Crown. I mean, by the way, the Derby winner's not in there. Preakness, I mean, he might run in it, but my point is it's not the top 3-year-olds. Preakness winner's not in there, and the Belmont winner is the one, right? That could really be like the best 3-year-old. But
yeah,
it just feels like if there was a year to happen, we say it every year, it seems like it's progressively getting closer. We start seeing these Japanese horses win more and more Breeders' Cup races. It just kind of feels like the writing is on the wall a little bit for, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about Japan winning the Classic this year. And you'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, you won Dubai World Cup. It's not like it's this horse that came from nowhere, you know what I mean? So or even if it's Derma, you won, UAE Derby, like, had a ton of hype. It's not like it wouldn't be totally shocking to me at all.
No, it wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe when we get those past performances in our hands, we'll think about something different. But if you can go win the Dubai World Cup, I think you could win this year's Breeders' Cup Classic. I think that's the first logical way to look at it, right? The Dubai World Cup, the Breeders' Cup Classic, pretty darn similar. If not, Dubai was a little tougher.
I mean, those is like, imagine if I'm trying to think who was in there. It was.
It's like Ron said here. I'm not going to go as far to say I think Zandon has a shot to win, but this is the year where he actually can get second or third, right? Yep. Where last year it's like he's not going to be anywhere close.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like if Defunded won, say he won Dubai World Cup.
Yeah.
And then hadn't done much really, but then you're like, if he runs okay this weekend, Ushba Tesoro ran really well yesterday. Yeah. Like, if he runs really well, like, you're going to be like, yeah, I mean, I could see him winning because, it's he won the Dubai World Cup. If he can win the Dubai World Cup, he can win the Classic. So it just feels like that kind of year.
Well, this comment here saying he wishes more fillies and mares would enter the Classic. I think the problem is that's a pretty light division too this year.
It's worse than the older. I mean, it's worse than this division is the problem.
I don't necessarily disagree, but who are you going to put in it? Like, say we had a Monomoy girl this year. Yeah.
But
Right? I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do? I just don't
Patrick,
know.
he already ran, so the bounce would have happened
Yeah.
already. So he ran back. You'll go look him up. I think I don't remember what the race was called. He ran. I believe it ran yesterday, or maybe the day before in Japan. Ushbitsuro, you can look it up, but it was a nice performance. Yeah, it's just Nest was the talk a lot, from the people we know in the barn. Like Nest they were thinking about that route for the Classic. No, I mean,
No.
she was awful, obviously last out, and it's just who do you have?
There's
I'm with
nobody.
you. If you had a Monomoy girl,
100%.
oh gosh, I mean, if you had a Monomoy girl, please.
Mhm.
I mean, the list, Abel Tasman, gosh, I mean, the list can go on. You just don't have anyone like that
No.
this year.
Nope.
I
You
I keep
don't.
thinking that we're going to see a turf horse or two. Maybe
Try
we
it.
will. But as far as like we've seen it before, those turf horses that overseas, so turf horses that try the Classic. Um, that's what I know. We keep I feel like banging on the drum saying put next in the race, put next in the. We kept saying, but it just doesn't seem like they're going to do that. But that's why it feels like you should. So
But even if they put next in the race, not nest,
yeah,
next, are you really like, all right, now we got somebody?
yeah.
No. No. It is what it is.
Oh man, Patrick. Just to be clear, I don't think there is a international law as far as you have to run in America to have the balance happen.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's generally the next race from Dubai.
And
Um,
it generally just depends on the horse, like any other time they bounce. I mean, it's kind of been proven that Dubai thing. Sometimes they bounce, sometimes they don't.
yeah,
It's it is what it is.
it's
Sometimes they definitely do at times, but other times they really haven't. So
I mean, and it's very a real possibility that he doesn't run well.
yeah.
He doesn't
Oh yeah.
doesn't like Santanita, doesn't like the whatever. Like there's 1,000 different things that could happen. Of course, when you're especially when you're talking about a international horse, right?
Well,
But,
put Dubai out of your mind. Forget about that. But just think of any horse that comes over from overseas. They usually run really well or really poorly. And there really isn't an exact science of who's going to handle it and who's not. You just kind of have to take the horse for what they are and then weigh the factor of, okay, I think he's much, much better. He or she's much, much better. So I'm going to play him, or she's not that much better. So maybe I won't play her and hope that she doesn't take to the surface or whatever. So that's just what it is. I mean, any you got to factor that in with any horse that comes in from overseas, whether they've
yeah.
raced it by or not.
All right. So 35 days, 30, I don't know what it is. Days out from the Breeders' Cup. Our current picks right now for the Breeders' Cup Classic, Halterman, you went with Arabian Night.
I'll be something different
Did
every
that
week.
change from last week?
Yeah, I think I said White Barrio.
Yeah, mine changed too. I don't remember, who did I say last week?
I don't know.
I think I said Arabian Night, maybe.
Maybe.
Anyways, we're changing. I'm with Ushba Tesoro. We'll see though. It's we'll change probably again next week. All right, guys. Today's show, we're going to preview and give picks for this weekend's major stakes races around the country, including 5 Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races. Let's go. Trying to think of all the different female horses over the years that I would pick to win.
Rachel Zenyatta.
Well, yeah, of course.
There's
Yeah.
2. Well, let me Beholder.
Songbird.
Um,
Who was what was that big Elate?
Late, probably
Probably.
would have it shot for sure.
Elate and Abel always banged heads, so
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Minnie.
Monomoy, of course. We talked about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Forever Rags to Riches, Forever Unbridled. I mean,
Forever
a lot of
Unbridled.
them. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with those.
Late was bigger than the boys in the classic Magic. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that was part of with that thought too. Is like you always thought that she could compete against the boys just based on her size. She was a lot like Zenyatta, where she just looked massive, compared to the other fillies.
I'm going down the list here of ones. Royal Delta, probably.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was that horse that tried to run the classic 2010. No, 11. No, 10. I don't know, when was that? No, 11.
Habit
I
of
guess it was
Grace.
11.
Yeah, Habit of Grace.
Habit of Grace, yeah.
She got beat, but she
Yeah.
was the favorite that day.
So I mean,
there's a lot.
Close hatches?
I don't think so.
No.
I never really thought she was at that kind of level, but maybe. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch. But listen, we don't have anything close to any of those horses we're listing.
Nope.
Right? There's not anybody that's in the same. And like Forever Unbridled, good horse, but not like crazy elite horse. Really good. We don't have that right now with the fillies.
Nope. I mean, we don't have anything. I mean, like
Close.
our best horse, I mean, if you had to gun to your head, say best horse that you can throw in to run in the classic, you would say, sadly, I think you'd have to say, like, as far as fillies and mares, be Clairiere or Nest.
I mean,
and I don't.
It would be. I mean, no. That's all you could say. It's not going to happen.
Clairiere would run like a distant fifth or something, non-threatening fifth.
Yeah,
at best. She split the field, so
a slower Zandon, basically.
yeah. The head-to-head on those two would be good.
Secret Oath
with the steel chair.
Secret Oath at least has faced the boys a couple times.
Yeah, she would take money.
Oh, she would take money
because it's who it is. But yeah,
he'd be one to actually try that.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of talk was with Nest on why like she would make sense, would have made sense in the classic, given that she damn near won the Belmont. She ran really, really well that day, so it's not like they've tried it before, and it is a year that we discussed that it's not super incredible talent, and so that was like. I think the other big thing to me, if you're going to try it, and I know there's no rule against this, but to me, if you want to enter, you should have won the distaff if you want to face and win the classic.
Yeah,
run the classic, I should say.
Even before Nest ran that race at Saratoga last time out, you were talking about classic as we were walking to the track. I was like, dude, you can't even like she didn't even win the distaff. So why am I sitting here asking or answering that question?
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. Wouldn't it be fun if horse racing had if it drew the fields? Of course, we can't even figure out how to draw fields in our sports, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But if you drew the fields, and then every race, or at least every stakes race, had like one mystery spot where you just don't know who's going to show up until they hit the track. You're like, oh my gosh, it's Secret Oath. Throw a wrench and everything.
That's hilarious.
All right. We're going to this is a busy weekend of racing all across the country here. A lot of stakes races, a lot of official and unofficial Breeders' Cup prep races. So we'll get into all those across Belmont, the Big A, Churchill, and Santa Anita. There's some Sunday racing as well, the Pilgrim and the Miss Grillo, those juvenile turf racing for the boys and girls, but they're not out yet. But maybe by the time we get there, we can have at least something, have an idea if he's going to run in those. But did I miss the Tad wants to know if you missed the Prairie Meadows talk? We haven't talked about Prairie Meadows. Nope. Hey, congrats, by the way. Husker Butch got the big win. I went back and watched the replay after the fact, and you ran well. That was a kind of a like if you didn't know about like he's a respectable horse, at least in that class.
I mean, he had such a good year up at Prairie Meadows. Ran 6 times, hit the board all 6 times, won 2 of the 6 races, and ran out about $50,000 in purse earnings. So he has been an absolute gift. The partnership is in love with him because he has just been an ATM machine. He's been fantastic. So yeah, no, he ran great. It was fun watching that. Yeah, Shoddy and Pedlo were with us watching that. Papa Dude, watching that horse come down the stretch. It's just like, I think he's going to win, but he's Husker Butch. So you never know. But like I said, he switched his leads real smooth this time and went and got that horse. So yeah, I mean, super pumped for him, and really, really proud of the season he had up at Prairie Meadows. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's I obviously knew he won when I watched the replay, but watching it, if I was watching that live, yeah, I would have you'd been nervous because it looked.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like it's like I kind of thought he's gonna pull away, and like, that horse that he was trying to run down was battled and wouldn't kind of give up the lead easily, but he just kind of kept coming. So yeah, he's a night. I think you already gave it out, so if people haven't listened, and myself included, what's the next spot?
Yeah, like Christopher says, financially he's been a blessing for sure. Next spot, we are headed to Lexington, Kentucky. We're gonna go to Keeneland with him. We are pumped about it. Yeah, we're very pumped. I think everybody in the group kind of realizes that we're probably going to be in a little bit of trouble up there. The competition can be better, but we also kind of just looked at it as it's not like he's horrible. He's kind of earned his chance to go run there. I don't think he'll get absolutely embarrassed up there, or down there, I should say. So yeah, we're taking him to Keeneland. We're going to run him in mid-October. We may try the turf. I don't know if that's been decided yet, though. So,
have you decided? I know because it's a horse that you've stretched him out. Last time he was cut back. What kind of distance are you guys thinking for him?
We think. I think at least anywhere between 5.5 and 6.5 is fine for him. I think that's his best. He didn't run too bad going 2 turns, but I think he's better at 5.5 or 6.5. I'd love to see him on the turf. He's got a pedigree that says he could probably run okay on it. And, Kelly's told me he's put on a lot of weight, and that's good for a horse. And he also, like Jake was telling me, that his coat is looking really, really good. So I think he's doing really well. And that's another reason where it's like, well, he's doing well. We might as well run him. And what's the worst that could happen? He gets last. Okay. Who cares? Like, he's been great. So
are you going to keep him in claiming company?
Yeah, we'll keep him at claiming company. I tried to sell him to Danny Caldwell at Remington. I said, listen, Danny, I got a good one. He's in for 30. You can have him for 29.9. He said no. But look, I'm kind of with Shoddy. Like, he's made enough money now to where it's like we can just keep him for a long time, and it's not going to hurt anything. Obviously, though, when you're in the claiming game, you do want to get him claimed at some point. And I think he has a resume that will get him claimed at some point, but I don't think he's going to get claimed for like 25 or 30. And I think that's kind of where we're looking at next for him. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, you got to assume too, he's not going to get claimed at Keeneland, because if someone sees the form and they're like, well, he's winning at Prairie Meadows, like you're not going to think I'm going to claim this horse and run him here at Keeneland. Right.
Right. If we ran him for 7.5, he probably would. Like, I got one claimed up at Lexington one time at Keeneland, but we ran for 10,000. Right. And he had kind of had a turf pedigree a little bit, and he had run okay other places. Yeah. With him, I mean, you're probably not going to get him claimed for 25 or 30, but when it's time to kind of let him go, I think if you drop him to 10, that's probably where people are going to jump in. Supposedly, like 3 or 4 races back, somebody was really interested in him at Prairie Meadows for 30, but didn't happen.
Look at this. He wants to know he's on Iowa bred. He's international bred.
Yeah, Ron. He is a Ontario bred actually. And I asked the guys because what happened with why we have him. Husker Butch's original owner passed away, and so they sold us the horse. And anyway, kind of sad story there. But anyway, the original owner bought him at Keeneland, And I asked Kelly, why'd you go with Ontario bred? And I never really got a good answer. So I have no idea why they purchased an Ontario bred to run in Iowa, but he's here and he's winning. And like I said, he's been, I've only owned 4 horses, but he's far and away been the best one I've ever had. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's funny. And the best part about it is like you had no, like, you assumed like you're not going to get anything out of this horse. Like it's going to be a quick, like it's just more like, and so it's exceeded all kinds of expectations, which is the best kind of situation when you're running these, well, and really any kind of level of racing, but especially at this level when you don't really think you're going to get much out of this, and to have this kind of like, now you're going to Kentucky, and that's pretty cool. And is there any truth? I've heard some rumors. I saw it on Pollock Report, I think, that this is actually a prep for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
I always tell him that. I was like, he's going to the Classic if he wins this race. No, this is not a prep for that.
Okay,
no.
Just check.
If the Breeders' Cup was at Keeneland, maybe we'd do it. But
wouldn't it be amazing if it was at Keeneland and like he would you guys had him like in the first race on Friday or something at Keeneland? That'd be so fucking awesome.
It'd be amazing for sure.
Like,
how cool would that be?
That's how my horse is running on Breeders' Cup Day at the Breeders' Cup. Like I mean, the only thing that makes it better is you have like a legit stakes horse in one of those races. That'd be so cool.
That would be amazing, especially with him. And I mean, to be honest, and still, he's not some kind of great horse, but I really thought we were in big trouble with these two, because we had 2 of them and one of them just quit. Basically, we had to sell him he's a show jumper now. But the other one, Oscar Butch, they always kind of said, he's whatever, like he's okay, but don't expect much. And the other one, they were really excited about it. And then as it turns out, Husker Butch, it goes a long ways that Husker Butch really tries. He really tries. He's not talented, but he super, super tries. So it goes a long way when you're at a track like Prairie Meadows,
Rodney, just email us at contact@racingdudes.com, and Halterman we'll see that and can reply to you to help you kind of get started. So we've Halterman and I've owned a few over the years. He's owned a lot more, but it's always fun to do the partnership type stuff, to low risk, and especially to me, like, I'm not going to shit all over like the ones like my racehorse and stuff, but to me, I'm more like, these are like where it's more of a, he does have a smaller percentage, but it's all the people he knows, a lot of pretty much everybody that's in it. It's a smaller group. It's like you're not buying $300,000 horses and you own 0.001%. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like you have a lot more feel, even though they are lesser races. You have a lot more control and feel over kind of the ownership side of things.
Absolutely. And look, it's our good buddy Kelly that trains it. So him, so I can talk to him. I talk to him anyway, you know what I mean? But when you own a bigger percentage, you do kind of feel like that. And, I've got a horse license. I can run horses in Arkansas and Kentucky soon, and Iowa. And, it's kind of more of you feel like a legit owner, even though I just have 10% of this horse. You kind of, you're a bigger part of it. And that's kind of, for me, I wanted a little more than just what my racehorse thing, but that, again, not a knock. I mean, but
that made me think of something, Shoddy. We actually had, I don't think it ever got officially done, but we got into the idea of it. And I think there's even, I'm gonna look real quick on the site. We made a page, like, and had we're gonna get people to sign up, and we'll get, it's called Racing Dude Stable. But I don't think it never happened. So
it seems like we only got like 3 or 4 people that are interested.
Definitely. And that was a long time ago.
That's just it, though. Like, we didn't have the audience now. So, I mean,
this was back in like 2014 or something. Mm-hmm. There's actually a page here. I'll put it in the chat there. But Racing Dude Stable. I mean, it'd be pretty cool. Like, if there was enough people involved in our group and our fan base that wanted to do that, shoot us an email, and if we could actually get enough people that would be interested in it, we could set something up like that for sure. It'd be fun to have a Racing Dudes group, especially with Kelly be our trainer, of course.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
no no question about that. So you got to have an idea of where we'd be running the horses and things like that. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean that could be fun. Yeah, we got 2 Halterman. You might there's 4 if you count us. I'm sure we can get Magic involved. We might get enough. We'll get Kelby.
Yes. Yeah.
We
I
can do
mean,
it.
the rules are just 2 simple rules. Like I said, Kelly is the trainer and he is the boss, and nobody else, including Jared and I, are the boss. It's him. That's it. And that's the only way, in my opinion, it works. You have the trainer for a reason. Just let him do it.
We'll let Magic run the group pick 6 betting syndicate, and you guys can decide if you'd like to be involved in that or not.
No.
But no, that'd be fun. So yeah, just if you are like legit interested, shoot us an email at contact@racingdudes.com, and we can just start to kind of make things happen if that's something. Again, like we loved the idea, just like you said, we didn't have the interest, right? And it wouldn't be a business opportunity, for us or anything like that.
No.
It would just be like more of a way to kind of get all of us together and have fun.
Yep, for sure.
So, all right, guys, let's what do we say? Maybe in 46 minutes of the show so far, let's get into actually picking races here. Let's kick things off. This is kind of like a rapid fire-esque segment, but obviously not a lot. There wasn't like a major race this weekend, so we thought let's just talk about all of them in somewhat of a mid-level detail. So let's kick things off here at Belmont at the Big A on Saturday. The race 3, the Vosburg Stakes, grade 2, 250K, 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up. It is a Breeders' Cup winning you're in for the Qatar Racing Sprint. And the 6th horse, Cody's Wish, heard of him? 1-5 favorite, clear favorite here, no doubt about it. Is there any way he can get? By the way, it's a win and you're in for the sprint. He's already in the mile as well, of course, the dirt mile. He's going the dirt mile, right? This is more of just a prep for that.
Yeah. And you look at his 7 furlong races; they've been pretty good. So I don't think the distance is going to be any issue. Going to be my top pick. I think Accretive is awful interesting in here. I'm of the opinion of even if the Whitney was a mile, Cody's Wish wouldn't have won that day. I think he ran it pathetic. Now, again, I know a mile and 1/8 not his game, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that was the big part of it. I'm sure it played a part of it, obviously, but I thought he was awful in that race. I think he's going to bounce back and win here. I would not be shocked if the 4 beats him. Like if Cody's Wish doesn't run like a decent race, I think the 4 is good enough. Mm-hmm. I'm still thinking Cody's Wish is going to win. I'll mix the 4 in there a little bit as well, though. I think Accretive is a horse on the rise, and Cody's Wish was going to have to rebound. That was not a good effort in the Whitney.
Yeah, I think that effort is concerning because if it was just I get that he was going. I mean, all the things you said, but if he runs like you and I have talked about this a lot privately. It's like if he runs his race or a pretty good race, let's say, and Waidabario just does what he does, right? You're just like, well,
yep.
I mean, what can you do? But it was pathetic effort, bottom line. And you don't typically, in my opinion, see really good horses like Cody's Wish, I think, is maybe run that badly, even though the distance is long, right? Longer than they want.
To me, when it's a horse like that, what they a lot of times will do is they'll make their huge move on the turn, and then they'll kind of just hit a wall, right? They'll make that huge move, and then instead of just going on by, they kind of get tired. They run in place right where they're at, and that's it. There was none of that. He did nothing in the race. And so that's why, again, he's far and away the best horse in this race. But if he runs like he did in the Whitney, I don't think he will beat Accretive.
No.
I really don't. Now, I do expect him to run better. Horses just have flat performances, and then he'll bounce back and be okay. So I'm not saying he has to run his best, but he's got to run better than he did last time out, or he's in some trouble in this spot. I got him on top, but I'm going to use the 4 as well.
This is why. Okay, this is why, and I've seen it somewhere. Like wins against this field, bet against with both hands next time out in the Breeders' Cup, and Here's why. Here's my case for Saudi Crown running in the dirt mile instead of the classic, because Saudi Crown is better than Cyberknife, and Cyberknife just barely got beat by Cody's Wish last year's Breeders' Cup. So I think Saudi Crown could beat him. And that's kind of my thought of why I would rather have him in there, because I don't think Saudi Crown has any chance in the classic. But that's beside the point here. If Cody's Wish comes back to his performances that we saw, like, I mean, obviously you just highlight the Met Mile. If he runs the Met Mile, it's like, forget about it. He'll dominate. I mean, he looked unbelievable. He's looked unbelievable all year, frankly, other than that Whitney. So I expect him to still win. Like, I think we can give him a pass on that one, but I'd say he's in the we talk a lot about, especially like with fantasy football and stuff, like, are you panicking yet on this player or whatever? Like, you're a little bit of a panic here. Like, you don't love that. Now, he can completely shut that down and say, oh, well, he just clearly had an off day. He didn't run well. He didn't like the distance, all the things. But if he looks a little bit flat here, you'll be, I would not feel awesome about him in the Breeders' Cup. And I also agree with you. A credit to me is like the 4-horse clearly is the horse. Like, because my thought was when I looked at this race, like, is there any horse that can just go it's decent, that can go gate to wire in this field? Like, because if Cody's Wish just is a little bit flat, just not quite as like he was, some horse can wire this thing and he won't get there to them. The 4 could maybe, like, I think, you look at his past performances, you don't necessarily believe that he's a speed horse, but I do think he's got enough speed to where there's not any other speed in the race really that much. And 2, I think he can, Irad learned a little bit last time on him that, hey, let's just send this horse and let Cody's Wish try to come get me. So I do think Cody's Wish is going to have to run, like you said, he's going to have to run better than he did in the Whitney to win here.
Yep.
Do you, before we move on from this race, is there any, I mean, I talked a little bit about the next race, whether, with the dirt mile, what do you need to see to confirm that he would be the pick for you in the dirt mile?
He kind of just needs to look like himself. I don't really know yet on the dirt mile. I don't know how his style is going to play at Santa Anita, blah, blah, blah. But for him to be, on the radar as a major contender, I think he's got to look like he did before that Whitney. He's got to show up and just cruise by him. I mean, he should win this by 6 lengths and not touched if he is what he used to be. So I think that's what you're looking for. You're just looking for him to look like him again, because that I don't know what that was last time, but it wasn't him. He was brutal in that race.
Yeah, I mean, you keep saying it, and it doesn't become less true. It was awful. All right, let's go to the next one here. Later on the card, race 6, the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. It's grade 1, $500,000. This is a good race, Halter. 1.5 miles on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. Field of 9, and it's not an official, Breeders' Cup Challenge race, but it is, because you've got 9 horses in here, and obviously you've got the turf winner of last year, Rebels Romance, but several in here, right? Stone Age, Soldier Rising, Warlike Goddess, of course. Pioneering Spirit, who's been awesome for Linda Rice. Lots of horses in here at Hadmo, just kind of a turd for Chad Brown, but still, I would say there's a handful of horses in here that we'll probably see at the Breeders' Cup. So where are you going here?
Well, I'm going to go back to number 5, Rebels Romance. If you watch that race back, the Bowling Green, before he stumbles, it looks like he's getting ready to just dominate that group. It looks like he's really winding up. Stumbles, jock falls off. That's it, right? And it's just thankfully he's fine and everything's okay. So I'm going to go right back to him. I'll take the 5, Rebels Romance. Jared, is it easy as we're going to play the Breeders' Cup Turf exacta here in this race from last year? Because I think Stone Age will run better. I mean, that was a first race for Chad Brown off a long layoff. I think he'll show up with a lot better race today. So I kind of went 5-3. I kind of like these 2 horses. We'll see, though. I mean, Rebels Romance, sometimes it's hard to come back when that happens, and that you have that happen to you where you just stumble. So hopefully he comes back big. I think he's the best horse in the race.
hands down. I no doubt about it. I mean, the fact that Channelmaker won that race gives you all you need. And obviously, he fell down too, or he stumbled. So I mean, it's clearly just scratch it out. Forget it ever even existed. So as long, I mean, to me, he's the best horse in the race. He is the defending turf winner, Breeders' Cup Turf winner. He looked awesome that day. And I'm with you with Stone Age. You know, we were told kind of when he went to Chad Brown, the word was like they were taking it slow with him. So that was a big reason why I didn't like him in the Sword Dancer. Didn't run awful. You could just tell needed the race and it was a little tired late. But I think he's going to continue to get better. And Chad might get this horse kind of where he needs to be at the Breeders' Cup, right? And so I could see this as a progression toward, being better. And then obviously, hopefully he runs even better at the Breeders' Cup. So I like that progression with him. I'm done with Soldier Rising. I was all over him last time in the Sword Dancer. I thought he was a winner and just flattened out. Bolshoi Ballet ran huge that day. And I guess, so I'm with you. Rebels Romance to me, I'm just pretending that last race didn't happen with him. And I think, he'll be really tough here, and I think he's gonna be even tougher at the Breeders' Cup to defend. But let's talk. We can't exit this race without talking about Warlike Goddess. Neither one of us are you didn't even put him in your top two there.
No,
to me, it kind of feels like she's done. But I haven't loved what I've seen from her. This is a horse that hasn't won since April at Keeneland. I get that she's really good. I get that, she loves this distance, but I just can't see her turning even at her best, she can't hang with Rebels Romance.
I don't think so. And I think if Rebels runs his best and she runs her best, I think we've seen it. He's about 2 lengths better, right? We saw at the Breeders' Cup last year. Look, she just hasn't been able to get the job done the last 2 races. I'm not going to be shocked. She's such a high quality horse and has been such a good horse, but she just kind of has the look of me of one that's kind of like you said, just maybe done a little bit. So no, I couldn't get there with Warlike Goddess in this one. And this is a really tough race too.
Yeah. Rosario, by the way, off the mount with Alvarado getting the mount now. I don't think that matters, to be honest, but it just doesn't, we talked a lot about this. We saw her at Saratoga in the Glens Falls, and it's just, she didn't run terribly. She ran second. We barely got beat. So I feel like we're shitting on her for no reason. But like, if the old Warlike Goddess wins that race 10 out of 10 times, and it just doesn't feel like she's at that level anymore.
I don't.
What are you laughing about?
I was laughing at Pedlo's comment. Yeah, I just don't think. I just don't think she just doesn't have that burst, right? Like that. What made her great is just like passing 6 horses in a second. You don't see that from her anymore. She probably should have won that last race that you referred to, but she didn't. And now this is a tougher one. That's the problem. This is not an easy spot. Like, this isn't a, hey, we can pick up a victory here. This is pretty damn tough spot.
You got to think. And maybe it's already been announced. I don't know. I haven't seen. You got to think that it's this race and then the Breeders' Cup race, and then she's had a hell of a career, over 2 million in earnings, 10 wins and 16 starts. Really nice horse. Will be a nice mom one day, but I'd say that would be a wrap. She's 6 years old, and obviously towards the end of her career. So the heart in me wants her to do well, but I just don't know that it's there anymore. All right, let's go to the next race, race 7, the last one at Belmont, the Big A for Saturday. It's a Woodward Stakes, Grade 2, 400K, mile and 1/8. Halterman, this is it's not an official classic prep race, but it might as well be. 3-year-olds and up, and you've got Chargent, our boy Chargent, in here versus Zandon. I guess Film Star's in here. Film Star's been really, really good. Algiers is in here as well, second place in that Dubai World Cup we talked about earlier. And it's another one of those races that you got to assume that, obviously in Zandon, you got to know that he's probably pointing to the classic. Charge It Is this a big race for him to prove that he is a classic horse? I don't know that he is. But where are you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a flyer with number 10 Film Star. I couldn't get there with Zandon. This kind of feels like he should win. I just can't do it because he's going to be the favorite, right? And it's just like I can't bet him as the favorite. The horse that got second over in Dubai, I may end up putting this horse on top when all's said and done, but haven't seen him in a while. I think this is a spot, I guess, to prep him for the Breeders' Cup. It kind of makes sense. Like I kind of like it. I ain't doing charge it. Piss on that. It's like I'm not doing that. So I took a shot at Film Star at 10-1, or excuse me, at 12-1, the 10 Film Star. Look, a long string of seconds where he ran really well, but he kind of has figured it out a little bit. I think I'll give Film Star a shot here. I don't want to play these horses at short prices. If Charge It or Zandon wins, I'm not gonna be super upset. I just don't want to play him at 2-1 and 5-2 because I think that's what they're going to be.
I wouldn't. Now he could win, no doubt about it, because it's Charge It. I wouldn't bet him with your money though.
It
I
doesn't feel right.
I don't know how you have any idea of what he's gonna do. You go the Suburban, it was awesome. The Whitney was pathetic. He always has an excuse. To me, his only case that you can ever make with him, and I think we've kind of established this at this point, that when he wins, it's because the field's shitty, one, and two, he has a pace advantage. He would. That's what I've heard. He does not. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of the people, apparently I'm not dumb enough to give him any of my money, which is baffling to me that
it is. If you gave him money, it's on you.
It really is.
It's 100%.
Like, I thought he had I thought he was high character. I guess
he has a history of this. Like that. I don't feel bad for if you are listening and you gave him money, on you. Don't feel bad for you. Anyway, go ahead.
Film Star is going to be an issue, I think, for Charge It in this race. And so I can't pick Charge It. I'm with you. It's not the greatest of fields. I'm interested in Algiers, so I'll pick Algiers here. Obviously would bode well for my Ushba Tesoro Classic pick as well, who finished second. Go watch the Dubai World Cup. This horse looked like a winner. The way this horse was confidently ridden and just kind of got tired late, but cutting back from that 1.25 miles to the 1.8 miles, I think will be good. So this one does hasn't been seen since Dubai, so we'll see what obviously they're bringing the horse over as a prep for whether it be the Classic or you got to assume it is the Classic, but I'm gonna go Algiers here, and I don't love it. I don't love anything in this race. To me, guys, and I've seen a lot of comments in the chat, Zandon is just Zandon. Like he feels like he's a horse that he finished second to Husker Butch, but he just can't. I think it's been too long. He is not. We talked about this every time he runs. He hasn't won a race since the Bluegrass, which is, by the way, kind of his claim to fame. That's like the big coming out party for Zandon was that Bluegrass, and he hasn't won since. And it's not like he hasn't been given opportunities. Yes, he's been running in a lot of tough races, but he also couldn't get the job done in the Jim Dandy. I mean, I guess he faced Epicenter, but he couldn't get the job done in the Cigar Mile. He couldn't get the job done in the Westchester, in the Whitney.
Yeah.
It just feels like I don't know this is easily the lighter. It's one of the lighter races he's ran in a long time. I just don't trust that he can get it done. Now, maybe he will. But I'm on the wait and see with him for sure.
The problem with him, it's the margins that he's losing by, right? He is the epitome of get second, get third, but you never for 1 second thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with him. If you just look at like numbers and pay setup and all this stuff, it's like you can make a strong case for him in here. He's probably the best horse in here, but he's never close. And that's what worries you about him in the spot and any spot really.
What about, I mean, is there anyone else in here? I guess I should ask, like, I mean, what kind of classic uh, thoughts are in here? I mean, Zandon. I think Zandon is what he is. Like, he'll probably confirm that you want to put him in second or third in your all your classic tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess if Algiers or obviously Charge It, someone like that were to win, then you're going to see them in the classic, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple might be able to go. And except Charge It runs really well, he's in. If Xander runs really well, he's in. So I think there's a few. I think your horse makes a ton of sense too. But are there serious contenders? I mean, 99 times out of 100, I would say no, but this year maybe.
And it also, I think this is a very much well, let's see what we have with Algiers. That's why they're running him in. Let's get him prep for the Breeders' Cup, but we'll start with here. So shot, it's a shot, but at that price, I'm willing to play again. I'm always willing to play against Charge It and Zandon at low prices. So give me Algiers. All right, let's go to Churchill on Saturday for race number 9. This is the Yak Stakes Grade 3, 400K, 1 mile, 3-year-olds and up. Field of 7, and it's a Breeders' Cup winning you're in. For the Big Ass Fans, dirt mile. Field of 7 lines up here. Halterman 6-5 on Zozos, 3-1 on 3 Technique. Obeso 7-2, 6-1 on Stage Raider. Now with DeVoe. But I guess really starts and ends with, do you trust Zozos at 6-5 based off of that terrible performance we saw last out?
I'm going to give him another shot because he is back at 1 turn. And I think that's a big key. And you look at the races that he's been at Churchill going 1 turn. He's been pretty good. It wasn't good last time out at Monmouth, but I do think he'll bounce back and run a little bit better here. So I'm going to put Zozos on top. I think he'll be tough. I do like the number 4 Stage Raider a little bit. Almost put that horse on top, but ended up leaning towards Zozos in here.
Yeah, Stage Raider looked really good last out. So we'll see what that horse can, especially now with DeVoe, what this horse can do. But I'm with you. To me, I'm with you. Like Zozos, like it deserves one more shot. As far like I'm not going to completely get off of him based off of that effort. It was so bad. I get that it was going longer as well, but it was so bad the whole race really that it was out of ordinary for him. So especially as of way he's been running late. He's got the speed. He's cutting back. I think Zozos will be tough. I guess if he runs, we talked about him being, maybe if Saudi Crown does end up still stays with the classic idea. We know we've talked a lot about Zozos being in past episodes of Zozos being like that horse that is the that kind of Brad Cox dirt mile horse that maybe he ultimately does become one of the main contenders of that race.
He might. I mean, he's going to have to run a heck of a lot better than what he did, last time out. But it's weird. At times he looks good, and at times he does what he did at Monmouth. He's been a very inconsistent horse. When he's at his best, he's pretty solid. So, look, this field isn't much. I think he can beat him if he shows up with his best race.
All right, let's go to the next race here, race 10, Lucas Classic Stakes, Grade 2, $500,000, mile and 1/8 for 3-year-olds and up. Field of 9 lines up here. This is not a official Breeders' Cup Classic winning you're in, but it has over the years kind of taken that shape a little bit of horses that are about to run in the Classic have ran here, and that really not changing this year as you have Rattle and Roll, the 4-horse for McPeak at 7-5. I mean, really, I guess you can throw Warrant in that conversation. There's a few in here that you could see maybe. And then the other one, obviously, is number 9, American Revolution at 5-2. Those seem to be the clear 2 contenders here. Certainly that you would see possibly in the Classic, especially Rattle and Roll. Thoughts on this one?
It's just a mess, right? Like, I don't know. It's not that great of a race. Look, Rattle and Roll, just bad last time out, right? Just not very good at all. He does get back to Churchill. I really think that's where he's at his best. And I think most importantly, he gets back to a field that's it's bad. Like, this is a bad group. I kind of wanted to pick Warrant, but it's like Warrant couldn't win the Governor's Cup at Remington last time out, right? Like Warrant was 5th in the Cornhusker. Like, it's just, he's not very good. You go down the list, like Trademark. It's like, he couldn't even win at Monmouth last time out. I don't know. I went Rattle and Roll by default. It's a gross race. I don't like anybody in here really.
I'll tell you what, there's a few in here where I'm like, if Rattle and Roll, has another dud performance like he had last time, and let's be honest, McPeak horses, they do that all the time where they run really, really well, and then sometimes they just don't show up at all. And if American Revolution kind of runs a little bit like he did last time as well, like this thing could be wide open. I mean, here's a list of horses that I legitimately considered. The one, Happy American, I think, but then you like got dusted by Rattle and Roll over and over again, so it's like hard to kind of get there. Honestly, dude, like you think I'm crazy. The 6 Blue Devil at 20-1. It's not. I think if this thing blows up, Wheel and Springs is another one that I think is interesting at 12-1. So there's 3 huge price horses that if these 2 don't show up, I think. So to me, you're either going single or just those 2, where you're basically tossing them and trying to get something wild home, because it definitely feels like it's one or the other in this kind of race. But I'm going to go the 9 American Revolution. So you will go the 2. I know, right? He's got to be better than he was. I mean, here's the thing. He's a horse that in the past, it's like he's ran some really nice races. He's also ran some really bad races. Last time out was one of them. That was off of a very long layoff. So I'm going to give him one more try here. I think the fact that Pletcher is running them here shows you that he has confidence that he's going to bounce back. He likes this distance. So likes Churchill, has ran well here. Give me one more try. Cautiously, but give me the 9 American Revolution. Is American Revolution good? Sometimes
he used to be.
He's got some issues, right? Clearly.
Boy, I tell you what, though, I don't know what happened to Pletcher up at Saratoga, but he went through about a 3-week stretch where they all were running like American Revolution. Like, think of Dreamlike ran horrible. I mean, couldn't have been any worse. And they came back and ran huge at Parks. So this horse, American Revolution, ran so disgusting last time out in a race where he was 1-5.
Never picked up his feet.
Never. So I don't know. I mean,
I get it. Trust me, I get it. But it's like the fact that he's running them here. I mean, I would think thinks he's going to run a lot better. But I honestly, like, he's one that I don't know have much of any confidence, even if he wins.
Yeah.
That he would run in the Classic, just because he just feels like that kind of horse that maybe he runs like in the dirt mile or not at all. I mean, maybe the Clark again, right? Because he's won that. But Rattle and Roll to me is like, no matter, he might finish 8th and he'll run in the Classic. Well, I think he's going to try to get him there no matter what.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can't laugh too much at your pick there because I picked Rattle and Roll. So there's that.
Yeah, you picked. Not only did you pick Rattle and Roll, you picked the McPeak favorite at 7-5. What could go wrong?
I literally just talked to Shoddy and Davey about how stupid I was to pick him in the Jockey Club, and now I'm picking him here. So
yeah, you're pretty stupid. I think
pretty stupid. Yep.
I by the way, I do like. I think Blue Devil at 20-1 is insane. I get. This was a horse that won twice at Saratoga. I know that it was allowance races, but anytime you win 2 races at Saratoga, you've got some talent. And if this thing just completely blows up, what if this horse goes gate to wire?
I bet that horse is half the price. I bet it's 10-1
at least.
Yeah.
Wheel and Springs at 12-1. It's like probably gonna be like 6-1 or something. But still, point is, I'm telling you, a 20-1 has a big time shot. That's all that counts. All right, let's go to Santa Anita. Race 6 on Saturday, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. Grade 2, 200K, 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up. This is not an official prep race for the Breeders' Cup, but it might as well be because this is a hell of a race, man. We saw this come out yesterday and thought, man, that is a great race. Arabian Lion and Fort Bragg showing up to face the Olders in this sprint race. CZ Rocket, of course, make no introduction needed. Speedboat Beach makes his appearance. 12-1 John put him at. That's crazy. And 6-1 on Spirit of McKenna. which is a nice price. Dr. Shivel at 9-5 is your favorite. Dude, I can make a case for a lot of these.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, this is a fun race without any doubt. Dr. Shivel sitting there at 9-5 as the morning line favorite. It's probably accurate, but he has lost 4 out of his last 5 starts, and the one win was an allowance. So it's not like he's just been racking up the wins, but he's very consistent. This is a really tough race, man. I kind of think Speedboat Beach is the speed of the speed. I kind of think he can get out in front and take him a long ways, but this is a pretty damn tough ask for this horse, isn't it? I mean, we haven't seen this horse in forever. He's a 3-year-old. He's going up against older horses here. Yeah, he might get to the lead, but boy, oh boy, this is a tough ask. If he wins this thing, he's kind of a monster, right? I'm talking in circles because I'm really between 2 horses here. I'm going to go with Fort Bragg. I'm going to go number 4, Fort Bragg, to win this thing. Talk about a 3-year-old facing olders, but I really think this horse, getting over whatever happened there at Saratoga, he didn't run very well. But before that, he had really found his home sprinting.
Beat Saudi Crown.
He beat Saudi Crown 2 races back. Yeah. Now we're cutting back to 6 furlongs. I think there is a lot of speed in here. I think he just kind of sits the stalking position. I like that Ramon Vasquez gets the mount. I'm a big Ramon guy. I know you are too. So I'm going to take the number 4, Fort Bragg, on top. Really competitive group.
Dude, this is and that's why I was like, man, we got to talk about this, because it not only does it feel like it's a good race, but it definitely has a feel of, hey, the sprint is out there at Santa Anita this year, and these are some nice horses. Arabian Lion, cutting way back now, hadn't ran this short since debut. You mentioned Fort Bragg, Spirit of McKenna. There's a bunch in here. It feels like it wouldn't be an outside shot to say that a sprint, a legit sprint contender, is going to come out of it at least. I'm a little shocked that John put Speedboat Beach at 12-1. It gives me a little pause, but that's where I'm going here. And I did this obviously before the morning lines were out, but you go back and he debuted on dirt back in September of last year, set the track record at 5.5 furlongs, just ran unbelievable, ran a 104 buyer, beat Fort Bragg that day. Not that really matters, that's so long ago, but then went off and ran 3 straight turf races, and then went to the Breeders' Cup, didn't run well on there, and then ran again back on the turf, won. But we haven't seen this horse since Del Mar of December of last year. And now the horse shows up here, has been putting up bullet after bullet works. I have no doubt in my mind this horse is going to go out and blaze. It's just a matter of, can this horse hold on for 6 furlongs off that kind of layoff? If there's anyone that can do it, it's Bob Baffert. I think he's an all or nothing horse. You either key him on top or you don't use him at all. I think that's where I'm at with him. So give me the 8, Speedboat Beach. I think this horse showed that he is a kind of a world-class type of speed horse. We just didn't get to see much from him with injury. Maybe he's back and can show it again. So I'm going to go with number 8, Speedboat Beach. But I would not be surprised whatsoever if like 5 of these horses were to win. 6 of them maybe. Spirit of McKenna, Speedboat Beach. Definitely the 2 other Bafferts, Dr. Shivel. I mean, I think all those horses have legit chances to win here. Any thoughts on Spirit of McKenna? 6-1. That's a horse that I've picked several times. I've been right a couple times and been very wrong a couple times. Obviously, the Bing Crosby, you can cut, draw a line through that one. Kind of had traffic and got checked real hard and had to stop. But the Pat O'Brien, man, Bravo didn't do him any favors in that race either.
No, he's had 2 bad trips in a row, and now he might be the right price. If you get 6-1, how could you argue betting him, right? I think he's a good enough price to win, or a good enough price to play, and I think he's shown a fair amount of talent here at Santa Anita. I mean, he's 3 for 3 when racing at Santa Anita. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's one you definitely have to take very seriously in here. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of ways you can go. You're going to have to go deep probably in this race. Speedboat Beach, one of the weirdest horses of all time, breaks the maiden, sets that track record at Del Mar, It's like, wow,
And they go to the
3
turf.
straight races on the turf after that
Yeah.
for Bob Baffert. I don't know what he is. I don't know. He's finally getting back on the turf for the first time in over a year after setting a track record in his only turf race or in his only dirt race. That's insane. So I don't know. I really don't know the answer to what this horse even is.
It's almost like they try, that next race, like they needed to get him in a race, and Speakeasy just happened to be that one. Even though it was on turf, just wanted to run him, and he ran so good, they thought, well, let's just run him in the like. That's all I'm trying to come up with something, but it just makes no sense. And then I think the biggest key, Halterman, for me, anyways, or the biggest like head scratcher of it is like he runs so poorly in the Breeders' Cup, and then they run him back on the turf after that. So it's like, if one thing, if they run him back on the dirt, it's like, okay, that was like whatever, and he won. So it's just, I don't know, but I do think he's got elite speed.
Yeah.
At least he showed it on debut, right? And I think you'll know pretty quick in this race. The other part of this is going to be the optics of it. Like, who's going to go where? There's 3 Bob Bafferts, all have speed. We've seen all 3 go gate to wire at some point in their careers. So, you gotta assume Speedboat Beach, I would think, is going to be the lead. He's the fastest horse of the 3. But Arabian Lion and Fort Bragg won't exactly be too far back.
No, and I think that's just it. It's like who's going to kind of sit off and sit the trip, because I think Arabian Lion will want to go up there with Speedboat. So I'm not sitting here and saying I'd be shocked if he won, but like what they did with this horse is really, really strange. And then Victor Espinoza getting the mount, I think that's odd too. So
it's like, surely you just don't fall off. I guess that's what maybe the instructions are. I don't know. There's enough intrigue there, and certainly the price there to want to play. But I think it's going to be one of those Bafferts that wins this thing. Is just trying to figure out which one it might be. All right, let's go to race 8 on Saturday at Santa Anita, the Austin McGinn Stakes, Grade 1, 300K, mile and 8 for 3-year-olds and up. It is a Breeders' Cup. It's the last, in fact, Breeders' Cup Longines Classic official prep race, winning you're in for the Classic. So you got field of 9. 2-1 on Defunded. I guess I get it. But I don't know how you have confidence picking or betting him at 2-1. Slow Down Andy at 5-2, 4-1 on National Treasure. Your Preakness winner shows up here. Sluttle Boy at 6-1. Where are you going here?
I went Slow Down Andy, the 3 horse on top. I feel like this one might have his name on it. The horse ran very, very good up at or down at Del Mar. Ran second in the San Diego. Ran third in the Pacific Classic. Very competitive in both those races. San Diego kind of looked like he was going to win it until Buscador got him late. You look at this, it's like I think he might be the pace and the only pace. So I went with the 3 Slow Down Andy on top. I also did put the number 1 Senior Buscador in second. I think he's going to have a shot to mow him down too. But I think Slow Down Andy takes him gate to wire in here. I like him in the spots. Give me the 3 on top.
Yeah, I'm surprised though. You and I are both on the 3 Slow Down Andy.
No shot then.
Yeah, he's done now. Although we did agree on a lot last week, and we did pretty well. So
true.
I'm with you. I just feel like it's finally, it feels like it's his time to win one of these races. And he ran really well in the Pacific Classic. He looked like they're the top of the stretch that he might win the thing. Got a little tired late, but I Senior Buscador ran him down, in that San Diego, but just feels like he's, of course, ran in 2 really tough races, the Breeders' Cup and the Met Mile. It feels like this is one of his times to shine here, and he's been running too good, honestly, to lose. Numbers have continued to get better and better, so I like him. I obviously Defunded is the one, right? Like I think I picked him both times in the San Diego and the Pacific Classic. I think I did pick him in the Pacific Classic. This is a really good pick. So I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't like Del Mar. That's the thought, right? But Defunded can make a case. He's got not a lot to gain, a lot to lose here, in my opinion. Because if Defunded goes out and rolls, it looks like the Defunded that won the Gold Cup, let's say, you can, or even the Pegasus, we got second, then you're making a case for him in the Breeders' Cup,
Mhm.
But he's back at Santa Anita, of course. But if he runs like he did at Del Mar, then obviously that's a huge, we're not going to see him there. So
Yep.
slow down Andy for me as well. National Treasure in here I thought was interesting from just a more general purpose. I'm not interested in betting him. Finished fifth last time out in the Travers. The Belmont was awful. The Preakness was, I don't know. The Preakness was what it was. It was the worst Preakness winner of all time, I guess.
Yeah.
But any love for National Treasure?
It's interesting the jockey that he gets. I'll say that. I mean, I did not expect to see Hernandez jumping off to fund it and running or riding National Treasure. So I think you at least have to acknowledge that. But what does that mean? I don't know. But it's an interesting situation that horse gets a new jockey because it doesn't seem like he should.
I know, right?
It's weird.
One, I didn't think we'd see him in the race, and two, he gets a nice jockey upgrade. I don't know. Blinkers back on, that will help. I agree. I just don't think he's a very good horse. That's a big part of it too. But maybe he'll run better. But I don't expect him to win here. But he might cause a little bit of issue with Slow Down Andy, who obviously we think is going to be closely to that pace. And so you and I are both on Slow Down Andy to see if you can get it done here and head towards the Breeders' Cup Classic. All right, there's two more, but the races aren't out yet for Sunday at Belmont the Big A, the Pilgrim and the Miss Grillo. Still waiting for those to come out. We can at least kind of go through kind of who's going to show up for them, at least the probables. It looked for the Pilgrim. Again, these are 2-year-old turf. Juvenile turf, juvenile fillies turf. So it's obviously we know how those can go. Sometimes it's hard to have a feel for those until they get really close to the Breeders' Cup. But a few of the highlights here: Pilgrim, Agate Road is probably the big one for Fletcher. That seems to be going to be pointing to that race. Clement's got Spirit Prince, probably Liam's Journey for Maker. But Agate Road, nice maiden winner at Saratoga for him. So any thoughts on him?
No, not really. I thought was incredible. Like the stretch was incredible last time out, but I wasn't like over the top about him. I have to see the past performances. I'm not sure on that one.
Like again, it definitely these turf, like there's not a lot you can take from these.
No,
until really it gets there. For the Miss Grillo, which is for the fillies, I think the big one for at least for me is Gala Brand for Bill Mott. That was a really nice horse. Got to think that horse would be a Magic Cross for Mott as well as possible for that race. Those are two really nice horses.
Feel a little bit better about talking about those because Galabrand did beat the boys. So I really like her. Yeah, I really like her a lot. I'll probably, again, without past performances, you don't know for sure, but that's one I'll probably play pretty heavy, whether it be a single or whatever. Her price is going to be kind of play around her,
Yeah, I definitely just based off of a pellet is in here, which is still a maiden, but has ran well twice. Or at least these are probables. Keep in mind, so we don't know exactly who's in them, but I feel better when I look at the probables for the Miss Grillo. At least it feels like there's some highlights there versus I don't know. The boys might be a little tougher. It definitely feels that way a little bit too from the dirt standpoint. I don't know. I feel like we have a little bit more of a standouts in that fillies division on the 2-year-old fillies than I feel like we do in the males. Would you say?
Yeah, I don't have a clue in the males going into these last couple of weeks. It's been wild. Females, you do have, hey, we got 3 or 4 that are pretty good. It's just trying to distinguish between those. But I mean, this juvenile males looks weird right now, right? I mean, we have horses that look good and then they run that next race and it's like, ooh, they're not very good. So I don't know right now on them. These last preps will be really important for them.
Yeah, they will. All these preps are going to be huge this weekend, whether it be confirming maybe a thought or maybe finding out something about a horse that you might be interested in. Even if the horse loses, if you see something there that you think hey, give that horse, like I think Stone Age is a perfect example. Let's see that horse improve one more time. Maybe that horse can pop at the Breeders' Cup. So keep that in mind as you watch these races this weekend. Even if you're not cashing tickets, maybe you learn something as we head towards the Breeders' Cup. That's a look at the weekend races and our picks as we get closer to the Breeders' Cup. All right, that's all the time we have. Check us out at racingnews.com for our free picks and our premium selection on our products page. Click the Get Racing News premium button at the menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Remember, you can check out all our content on our YouTube page, Twitter at Racing_Dudes, Instagram, Facebook. Blinkers off. We're on, like I said, on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places you listen to a podcast. We are there, as well as the Magic Mike Show, which covers everything from Remington Park to Santa Anita. So this week here in big special show, episode 500 for the Magic Mike Show, coming up here in about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes, covering the Saturday late pick 5 preview. But again, 500 episodes. So I remember editing their shows for them when I don't know how many episodes Magic I did for them starting off, maybe first 50, maybe, or maybe not even that many. And I got to be honest, didn't see it going 500, but it's a hell of a show, and they do a good job. And so congratulations to those guys to getting to 500.
Yeah, congrats definitely to those two guys, and I'll probably hang around and at least watch in the background today of the
show. That dummy Magic is going to have some kind of stupid / awesome intro. You know it. I can tell he's been working on some stuff.
Yes,
he's been asking me for like the episode 1 of Magic Mike, and I'm like, there's going to be something going on. So at least nothing else. We're going to run into this close enough to where just stay here. Yeah. And wait for the next Magic Mike Show because it's going to be good.
It won't be long. Yes, like I said, just 22 minutes away from that one. So that's going to be exciting.
A couple housekeeping items here to get back to. I've seen some questions in the chat. All right. Well, I can at least go to the herd of cats lost. That's right. The Turtles won on last Thursday's game. I believe it was... What was it? 4 or 5-1? 4-1, I think. My boy Cohen had 3 goals, had a hat trick. It was awesome. Really destroyed the Cats there. So the herd of cats go down. Halterman, you cashed a ticket. And then we followed up. We had a game Monday. With weird reason, we had a game Monday against they called them. They were also the Raptors. I don't know. It's a tough game, close game. We lost. It was a tough. We had 2 players missing. Our goalie was gone, so I had to put Cohen back in goal. It was kind of a shit show, to be honest with you. It was 2-0 quick. I got Cohen out of the goal and put him in, and he scored a goal pretty fast. It's 2-1, and we never could pull through. And they scored I had to put some kid in goal that never played goalie. It was rough, and they scored again. So it was 3-1. So we lost Monday night. And by the way, coach talked shit to me before the game. And she was a girl. She was a woman. It was a woman talking shit. I'd never seen that before in U8 soccer.
That's interesting.
I was like, it was wild. Like we were warming up and we were the first game. So and Cohen goes to school with one of the players off their team. So they were all kind of on one end playing and practicing, and she was over there, came over, and she was just like real snobby and like, we are the real Raptors. I was like, oh, okay. Great, we're the Turtles. And I said something to Cohen. I was talking to Cohen and about like, practicing or being in goal or something. She's like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna be on your side of the field a lot. And I looked at her and I was like, what are you doing? I said, you realize this is U8 soccer, right? I couldn't even get there. And then here was the final kicker. We were playing and still practicing there. And I kicked the ball like towards the goal, like I was trying to make it. And it like went just outside of the goal. And she looked at me, dude, and she goes, oh man, it was that close. It was like real. And I was like, whoa. I said, are you talking about my like that? it was wild. I couldn't get there. I was like, okay. So I really wanted to win, and so it was a tough loss. But yeah, I don't get it, man. Like if that's what you talk shit about, that's weird. It's really weird.
Wow.
So anyway,
Well, listen, that's there's people like that, and I think the biggest story is she got what she wanted. She got under your skin, and you didn't play your best. You didn't coach your best.
oh,
So
listen to this.
I give her a shout out.
Listen to this. Here's the biggest.
Please tell me you're dating her now.
No, but this I haven't even told anybody this because
gosh, I'm so excited.
So like the next day, mind you, they beat us. I was pissed. We didn't talk. I mean, I was like couldn't believe how that whole interaction went. The next day, I get a friend request from her on Facebook. And at first I was like, I don't even know who this is. I'm like, who is this? And I started going through the pictures. I'm like, oh shit, that's that coach. I have not accepted the friend requests. I don't know. I feel a little weird about that because I can tell she's single too, like based off the pictures.
Hold on.
No.
I want to make something. I haven't been on Facebook since April. If you give me her name, I want to look it up.
No, I'm not gonna do. I'll do it off air. I'm not gonna have it.
No, write it in the private chat, and then I'll go take a look at this person. Do it real quick.
Okay, dude. For one, just to be clear, just to kind of give a preface to,
dude,
she would beat me up,
dude. I have 217 notifications on Facebook. Okay, you gotta give me it. I will leave. Okay, hold on.
I can't, because here's the thing, you guys. If I gave out her name, I know half these idiots in here would be hitting her up, and I don't need that drama. I do not like. She would. By the way, there was zero interest on my part. The only interest I had was, wanting to, kick her ass and then probably get beat up by her because she just like all tatted up, and I wanted to beat her. Not literally beat her, but
I don't know that it's her. How do I know?
Does it from, let's just say, lives in here. I'll give you that too.
Yeah, give me some more information. Okay. Let me type that in.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. I thought it was a fake account. Then I started looking through the pictures, because I get a lot of friend requests from randoms, and I thought I was like, oh, that's her. So
yeah, I can't find her. Huh?
I'll share it with you later.
People. Here we go. Okay.
I have not accepted it though. So maybe for the content of the show, I can accept it if you guys want me to. But
I mean,
it was weird.
What the hell? Why don't you just send it to just text it to me? Come on.
And now looking back, it's like maybe she was like, that was like her weird flirting,
I think 100% that's what it is. Now that you've explained it, yeah. I don't think you realize what it is.
I definitely did not realize what it was.
Yeah.
But now looking back, it's like, oh, that's what it was. So
yeah.
Anyways,
send the link in the chat.
I'm not gonna do that.
In the private chat.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, never mind. You did. Okay, no, I did find her. Yeah. Okay, that's who I was looking at.
Yeah, but it looks like it looks like a weird account until you look at the pictures.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't accept that one.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be part of
that. Stay away from that.
She would definitely be my dom. Let's listen. The other part of this, or the other side topic I wanted to address, the questions of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Now, you guys might find this hard to believe, but I'm like way, way over it. I am. It's so annoying. I wouldn't say I'm a Swiftie, but I love me some T Swift. I've always been a fan of her. but it's too much. It's you didn't watch the game, but it was like every time anything positive happened in the game, they flashed, let alone if it was Kelsey, they flashed to her every time. And it's just I get it. It's becoming kind of annoying, to be honest with you. And I don't know how you feel there's this there's been kind of a trend on social media and like TikTok and stuff where it's like all these women, all these girls that are Swifties and stuff are going to their husbands and they're doing it on purpose to like get them fired up. Like, oh babe, like what do you think of, like, isn't it cool that like Taylor Swift is like putting this guy on the map? Like he's like now he's like this big deal. He's getting, and it's like, and all these guys are like, he's a 2-time Super Bowl winner. He's the best tight end of all time. His quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. And it's like they're going nuts. They're freaking out about it. But it is funny that like all of a sudden she can turn a guy who, he goes anywhere in Kansas City. Well, anywhere, frankly, in the country, but especially Kansas City, everyone loses their shit. And now it's like he literally could need zero like coverage or anyone to protecting him, any people around him, because everyone's going to be going to Taylor Swift. It's wild what kind of effect she has right now.
It's wild for sure. And this lady looks like a psycho to me, by the way. I wouldn't accept her. What are we talking about? Taylor Swift? Yeah, man.
Looks like a psycho. She would kill me.
Yeah, I'd stay away from her. We do have one mutual friend, which is weird. So that's my Facebook. I won't be on again. Thanks for that. Yeah, I think with Taylor Swift, I think I'm just waiting for it to all end and how fun that's going to be. So that's what I'm waiting for. But it's fun. I mean, look, I kind of enjoyed her like banging on the glass and yelling and screaming. That's kind of coll. I like.
Word is she's going to be at MetLife this weekend on Sunday night.
I love it.
That's amazing. I was listening to Pat McAfee's show, which is awesome. I love that show. And they were going and talking about it, and he's like, you don't want, like, it seems weird to me that everyone, like, it's like, oh, this is great. They're alluding to the fact that it's great how she's going to bring in all these new fans to football. How NFL has been trying to get that demo forever, and here's their way to do it. On the flip side of that, when this thing goes poorly, dude, like his sales and his jersey sales are up 300%.
Mm-hmm.
He gained 300,000 followers overnight on Instagram. Of the only reason they're, it's because it's Taylor Swift, right? I'm with you. It's like, this is going to end. And it's when it does, it's gonna be bad.
Yep. But listen, that's why the NFL's doing what they're doing, because of the star power that she has. So it'll be good. I hope she doesn't break up with him like before the playoffs or something.
The one nice thing about it will be is that inevitably will have a song written about him.
Yeah.
And Chiefs also, and I'll like that because I like most of her songs. So
yeah, it'll be fun. I like it. I think it's fun.
It's like after the game, Erin Andrews, I think it was on the sideline, or like the sideline reporter, and then she was interviewing Mahomes after the game. Of course, they beat the shit out of the Bears, and she was like, she literally asked him, like, did you feel pressure to this is the best, not only is this the best quarterback in the world, he's one of the best quarterbacks at this point, even of all time. And she's asking him if he felt pressure to throw Travis Kelce the ball / score a touchdown. It's just, to me, I'm all for bringing fans together and it's cool, but there's, because there is this like whole, like, this is football, let's keep that shit out of it.
Right.
I get that it opens doors and it's fun to like kind of have this mesh together, but come on, like, I don't need asking Patrick Mahomes if he felt pressure with Taylor Swift in the house.
Well, I hope it doesn't. I hope she doesn't break up with him and ruin your season, Jared.
Well, that's just it. That's what it's like. Everyone's like, no, because she's inevitably gonna, this will end poorly, and then he'll probably be wallowing in his locker or something.
I remember OU was 4-0, And Katy Perry said she wanted to date Trevor Knight, who was the quarterback at the time.
I
And
remember that.
he just went straight downhill. So, and we lost and lost and lost. So that could happen to you.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing we'll know. Like everyone will, like, no matter what, they'll blame. It's like if they win the Super Bowl, it's because of Taylor Swift. If they lost the Super Bowl or don't get the Super Bowl or whatever, because of Taylor Swift. And so my prediction is by said Super Bowl, they will be not a thing anymore anyways. So
that's what my dad said. He said he doesn't think it'll last to the Super Bowl.
No, I don't. I don't either. So
Yep.
It'll be fun, but it's fun for now, I guess. So there's my thoughts. Final thoughts, Halterman.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. It's time for Magic Mike.
Halterman, you're tired of sitting there. I know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, the Magic Mike is appearing in 9 minutes. So just stay where you're at. Get ready. Go to the bathroom. Get a drink and sit down. And we're all going to sit here and watch what is about to be an epic, I guess, intro to the Magic Mike show. Either way, hey, the thing is, either way, it'll be good. It'll be either really bad or actually really good. So stay tuned for the Magic Mike show coming up. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend, guys.